Hey, good people. Hey. It's me, Paris. How y'all be? Come on into the room. I am actually doing my first time from YouTube alone. I'm excited. I feel like this is a pivot. It is a transition. You'll understand why that word is important in a minute. But if you guys are here, say what's up. What up, Ro? Hey, girl, hey. Yeah, I am transitioning. So I have definitely just posted to the peoples that I am on live. So I'm gonna give them a second. If you guys are here, go ahead and please like, comment, and share, and subscribe. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. You don't want to miss a lot of the good stuff coming up, including the fact that I'm going to be changing a few things, but it's going to be good stuff. So definitely want you guys not to miss. Like I said, share. You just don't know who could be um, who really could use this information. Like I tell you before, this is so not about me. If you only knew how much about me it wasn't, you would understand that you sharing this information could help somebody, especially knowing what type of season we all are in right now. So I'm excited. I'm completely excited about the opportunity of this newness. Um, and so I'm going to let everybody else catch up, but we're going to start. First of all, let's talk about it. A little of a recap. If you guys don't know, on Tuesday of this week, I had so many technical difficulties. I could not get on Facebook. I don't know what happened. I really just don't know what happened. It was a whole lot, and I was running late and I was scrambling, and because of that, I didn't realize that I was not completely live, not even on YouTube, but I thought I was. And so I had a whole good old talk to myself for 20 minutes. And it's okay when like nobody responds. Sometimes I'm like, oh, people catch the replay. It's very interesting when you're not talking to anybody but yourself. So that was an interesting moment for me. But I do believe that it did remind me of what I'm doing this for, that is so much bigger than me and it's so much uh it is necessary to keep pushing through, especially when it feels like meritless. That's a word. I mean, it's a word, but I hope y'all get what I mean. Like, not that I'm doing this for any particular reason, but sometimes, like, you want to know that there's a finished product when you're done, and when sometimes things like get in the road, it's so easy to want to just say, forget this, forget this, forget it, forget it. And I'm just want to be honest with you, like I'm just a real person, so I'm not going to sit here and beat around the bush and act like it's not days when I'm just like, keep all that. Like, I mean, it's too much, right? It's too much. And that's actually, I know what I want to talk about today, right? The topic today is transition well. Transition well. Listen, y'all, we're in a new year, okay? This is 2022. And I don't know if you guys remember just all the excitement about going into this new century. Well, it's 2020. Not new century, this new decade. All the stuff that was going on. All the excitement people had. And then you had Corona and the pandemic that come along. And I believe that it stole a lot of people's hopes. It brought fear. It heightened paranoia. It brought anxiety, and it caused just a lot of people not to feel like they have a right to look ahead. Like I was talking about vision casting the other day, and I think sometimes people get really concerned or really confused because when you've come out of a hard season, it's hard to kind of find that hope, because you almost feel like the season has really set you up and to not be able to trust the dreamer in you, trust that vision you had, right? It's almost like it lets you out. Hi, Candace. How are you? Welcome to Conversations from Paris. And to anybody else that's on here, I can't see you yet, but just hey, guys. I appreciate you guys coming over here from Facebook. Again, maybe I haven't made the announcements. I'm going to formally announce that there's no longer going to be a Facebook Live unless there's just some type of situation. But I believe that this is what I'm going to be doing now on YouTube only. I think it's going to be on YouTube. And so I'm here to build my YouTube family. It's very important to me to have consistency this way. And I just always thought it was going to organically happen, but that's okay. We're here now. But yeah, so, what happens when you have planned and made plans for your future for past season, and you did not see it? It didn't come to pass. And I'm so glad Ro invited you too. Thank you, Ro. I hope you're gonna have a great time over here. We're fun. But what happens when your past seasons did not even look like close to what you imagined? Like, let's talk about it. It's one thing to say, oh, well, I had to go, I don't know. Let's say you sell cookies. I had to go to sell 10 boxes of cookies and I only sold 1 box of cookies. It's one thing where you just didn't reach your goal. It's another thing where you not only did I not reach my goal, I turned around and I went backwards a couple steps and I fell down a little bit and skinned my knee, and I ended up being in the hospital because my knee was skinned. Like, it looks nothing like you thought it was going to look. And then don't let that happen more than once. Like, don't let it happen 2 seasons in a row. What does that do to you? And I think sometimes we're in a culture that makes us not be in the moment and feel what happened and not be able to move, and we want to move past it before we acknowledge it happened. We're in such a culture right now where it's kind of some of the old school and some of the new school mixed up, and it's all messy. Let me tell you why. The old school tells you to if you remember, used to trip, oh, don't baby them, get them up and just let them keep going. They were a generation to get up, dust yourself off, and let it keep going. And while that's helpful, the reason why they had to do it, especially a lot of, our parents, is because they did not get a chance to really have an opportunity to feel. Life wasn't especially forgiving. There wasn't a time to stop and process. And so that was what I think that they needed to do to get past it and get through it. So I think a lot of that is handed out down to us. And we call it perseverance, and we call it to survive. And it definitely does help us. It's absolutely, pieces of that are necessary, but I think we need to understand that is survival mode that we've been in that doesn't allow us to feel a thing or process a thing before we move on. And I think you guys have to really understand the depth of that to really get why that's dangerous, right? And then you got the new school. The new school is bam, 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 bam. I don't have time to worry about that. I don't have time to worry about my haters. We're going to keep on making this money. And it's all about pursuing the next goal, going to the next thing. This don't work, try that. This don't work, try that. This don't work, try that. And while that's good on some levels, what you don't do is you're still giving yourself room to process what happened in that moment, in that zone. And for a lot of us, not all of us, I'm going to just say all of us, is dangerous. It is so dangerous. Our culture does not emphasize the necessity of mental health. We talk about physical health. We talk about mostly right now is physical health, right? Really people don't talk about health until it shows up on you. You don't want to talk about health until you got to take insulin shots. Can we talk about it? You don't want to talk about health until you get your legs are numb and you can't feel them to walk. You don't want to talk about health until your doctor tells you that you're going to have to get that leg amputated. But you ignored how you were feeling when you were eating certain things. You were ignoring the fact that you knew that you couldn't fit your clothes and you were uncomfortable and your knees started hurting. You were ignoring the fact of a lot of things that were showing up that told you that your health was disintegrating. You ignored those things because it didn't stop you. And sometimes what happens is that we allow our health to not become a thing until it becomes a thing. You understand me? And so that's what our physical health, right? Imagine everything that's what you can't see. So this is why I still battle in this space with the mental health, because nobody thinks it's important enough until it's too late. And again, I don't like to use the word too late because there's no such thing, but until you see extreme symptoms of it, right? We see depression, anxiety, all that stuff. But until you see somebody running down the street butt naked, screaming, and you see that, running from ghosts, you don't think it's serious until then, and then you think it's too late. You don't think it's serious until you watch your mom go through a nervous breakdown. You don't think it's serious enough until you are checked into a mental hospital. And it's important, so important. And these are how you understand how to maintain your life, is by being self-aware enough to understand that these feelings, they have to be processed. They do not go anywhere. They don't disappear. They don't go away. If you went through a rough season and it was not what you expected, there is defeat there. There's a little rejection there. There is some anger there. There are all these things, and then it digs up root. It digs up root of abandonment. It digs up roots of orphan spirit. All those things. It really deals with even attachment issues, because now you don't feel covered. You don't feel safe. You were trying to dream and set a vision for your future, and then the rug was pulled up from under you. So do you have a whole lot of people right now that have not recovered well? They have not recovered well. And then, so now when I tell you, hey, we need to vision cast, hey, it's time for us to understand, dust the dust off the last season and go forward, you can't even really grasp that. You can't really even celebrate. Your heart won't let you. Your mind won't even let you. Your heart and your mind are kind of like best friends right now, because they like, usually it's one or the other. It's usually like, oh, my heart is hurt, but my mind tells me to go forward. Or my mind is hesitant, but my heart tells me to go. Right now, your mind and your heart both hesitant, because both of them feel like they've been shut down. So then what do you do when that happens? What do you do? What do you do when you feel like you are at a lock? Like you just you're not able to move forward. Well, it's time to dig up the hurt that you're trying to avoid, that you're trying to pretend didn't hurt. It's time to make a plan, and what I call it is a transition plan. Back in the day when you were in school, I don't think they do this anymore. Back in the day when you did not pass a class, they would hold you back, right? They would hold you back. And when they would hold you back, it was not supposed to punish you, but it was to give you the necessary things that they believe that you need to master before moving to the next level. Okay. And say things with like a test, right? If you fail the test, you could probably retake it again, because there are certain things that they need to understand that you grasp before you move to the next step, because you're going to need to grasp those basics before you go to build on top of those things. You also, in college, you've heard of them like the prerequisite courses. Like you have to master the prerequisites before you can get into certain classes, right? And so the thing is that we're in a space where we continue to we jump from class to class or stage to stage in life and season to season, and we haven't mastered our previous season. We haven't mastered it. And so the problem becomes that you can't build on a weak foundation. I'm sorry, I'm going to clap that up. That's a good one. I didn't know I was going to say that. You can't build on a weak foundation. You cannot continue to build on incompletely built walls. Like, when you build the bricks out, they have to be laid a certain way. Like ask any brick leader layers. Literally, you got to lay them a certain way. And if you don't lay them right, when you try to go higher and higher, it's going to collapse, and you're not going to be able to do anything right because your foundation is messed up. Man, I'm teaching y'all. I'm teaching. Like, listen, I mean, we'll talk about that later, but sometimes when you teach, it's supposed to come through you first, meaning it's supposed to cut you first. And this is cutting me, which is good, right? But that's the thing. You literally understanding that if your foundation is weak, you can't move to the next level. So y'all trying to learn 200, 300, 400 level classes, and you haven't passed none of your 100 level. You haven't passed none of your 100 level. So how can you move forward? You're not going to do well. You don't even, you trying to multiply and do equations, but you don't know how to add and subtract. How you going to do that? How? And I'm giving you this colorful like metaphor because I need you to understand that, because when you get that, you'll understand why it's been hard to shift from one season to the other. And you always think somebody's punishing you. You always think that, whether you believe in God or whatever you believe in, you believe that you're being punished. And it's not that you're being punished, just the same way as somebody that got held back a grade believes they're being punished. You're not being punished, but there were minimum requirements that you needed to be able to show competency in before you move to the next one, because it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. And you got to be able to roll with the big dogs. You got to be able to hold your own. You can't sit here and ask level 200, 300, 400 teacher how to add when that was expected. That was expected knowledge. You shouldn't came to my class unless you knew that, because I don't have time to teach you the basic stuff. And then we get offended because someone says that. But that's the truth. You got to know, that's another thing. You got to know who your teachers are. There are some teachers that's going to teach you the basic things that you need. But then when it comes to some of things that are a little bit more, you got to be able to have the basics down. And you're not going to be able to go and have them and drag them through the prerequisites. That wasn't their job. They're taking you deeper, and you need to be able to go deeper. So anyway, I don't even know why I'm like teaching like this. I'm all fired up. But really, that's it. When it comes down to it, you're in the season because you didn't get out of the last season what you should have. And I don't know what that is that you should have gotten. Maybe it was some gratitude. Maybe you needed to understand boundaries. Maybe you don't have any. Maybe your boundaries are not strong. Maybe you don't enforce them. Maybe you have false burdens, right? Maybe you are carrying other people that you were never assigned to. Like maybe you're doing a whole lot of things that you were not supposed to do, and you didn't understand the lesson of the season. And when you don't understand the lesson of the season, I can't go further. I'm gonna give y'all another analogy, because I just think analogies help people figure it out, right? I'm a manager, and like I tell people, when I came in entry level, there were things I did not know at the entry level, and then I learned, and I got promoted, and I was able to go higher, and then now I hire for the entry level position, and I can take people to the point where I can say, okay, now you can move up. Well, the reality is everybody wants to move up. Most people don't actually want to meet the minimal requirements for moving up. And there are requirements. There's a level of demonstration that is required, whether it's spelled out or not, but it is there. So what you need to understand is that you're not going to be able to be considered for the next position if you don't have some basic stuff. And a lot of time people want the title, but they don't want to do the work to get to the basic stuff. And let's be clear, for you to get promoted, you have to be stellar. You have to go above and beyond. You have to be excellent. But you sitting here coming to me and not even able to do the basics? How is that going to work? So that's just another analogy. So think about what season you're in your life, and it's time for you to transition. You're finding it to be hard. Well, I find the best way to do it is to take inventory of your last season. Take inventory of your last season and what your instructions were. So whatever you think failed, whatever you think you failed at, whatever you think did not work, I need you to get a journal, get some paper, whatever you're going to do, and start to write it down, right? Not just what the goal was, but what you believe happened that kept you from reaching that goal. So write down what you believe kept you from reaching that goal, but then also write down what was happening in that season for you, right? Because sometimes people will say, well, this happened that was out of my control, and therefore I couldn't do this. If you feel like your answer was that, like if you feel like it was something that was out of your control that kept you from doing what you thought you were supposed to do, I am going to ask you to look deeper. I'm going to ask you to look deeper. And until you can find something that has something to do with you, you are not at the right answer. I'm going to say that again. Until you can find a response that has only something to do solely with you, then you have not reached the right answer as to why your goals were not met, right? And I'm going to say it's not always, sometimes things change for a reason, but also in that change, there's reason for that. Every time my plans have changed, I have been able to go back and look and really sit down with myself, look at what happened, look at the time period, assess my growth, or, what's the opposite of growth? My incompetencies in the season, and figure out what happened. And then I was able to say, oh, okay, that's what happened. Because if I can figure that out, then I know how to go forward. I have something to go off of. Sometimes you'll find that a situation comes up that, of course, you can't control what happens to you. But you'll find that it was not almost, but it was absolutely necessary to test you because you were stuck. That's the word I want to use. You were stuck. I'll give it, when we talk about transitioning, well, I'll put it like, okay, what if you're in a snowstorm and you go into a ditch and you're trying to get out the ditch yourself and you can't get out the ditch because you're stuck and you need somebody to help push you out the ditch. I'm sorry, I just got so much out of that. Like even just this, like that movement. Sometimes you need help getting pushed out the ditch. Getting pushed out the ditch. You don't know who's put into your life. Sometimes a situation is there to push you out the ditch. Don't throw your phone, Candace, girl. Do not throw your phone. We need it right now. But I'm telling you, I've found that. I found that sometimes it takes something to move you because you're too comfortable. You're too comfortable. Sometimes the tires that's on your car are not strong enough to get you out that ditch, so you need somebody to push you. And then they'll tell you, hey, while I'm pushing you, press the gas, because now you got to go ahead and you have something to do as well to get out, right? Right? So what has you stuck in your last season? What haven't you learned? What haven't you not let go of? What are you carrying that's not yours? We're talking about transitioning well. I'm all about that. But the best way to transition well is to come out of a season correctly. You can't go in a new season with baggage. You cannot. You need to be able to carry. Only thing you should be carrying to the new season is the lesson from the past season. Only thing you need to be carrying from the old season is a lesson from the past season. You cannot carry any type of baggage, and you have to have what you need. It's almost like I even like, and I'm sorry, the way my brain works, y'all gonna have to just work with me. The way my brain works is I'm gonna keep on giving you metaphors because until I know that you understand it, I can't. This is how I understand stuff. So I hope y'all get it. Even if you look at like Indiana Jones or any of these movies where you have to find, like you have this map into this like final destination and you go through all these rounds and all these levels and you're supposed to do something to conquer each level. And usually you have to find something. And even in video games, like, Mario Brothers, you're not able to go to the next level until you get what you need to go to. And they're like, oh, here's the key to unlock the next door. It's the same Same idea. I need something, but I also can't bring a whole bunch of stuff. So maybe I have all these things to get through this level, but maybe leave that here and now go over here. I need this to go forward. I don't need that anymore. Y'all hear that? I need this to go forward. I'm going to take what I need, but I don't need this anymore. So certain things you could share from the last season. Y'all know about, butterflies used to be caterpillars, and there's a process that happens in that cocoon that changes them so they can fly. They can't fly with all that skin and that stuff that's from the caterpillar. They have to shed that. They have to shed that. So it's a whole process. And that's how you transition well. You allow yourself to be processed. And you got to be honest about certain things. If you had a last hard season, if after you figured out what you were supposed to take and the things you weren't supposed to take, then it's about being honest about how you feel. And y'all think feelings don't matter. It does matter. If you were hurt, if you're angry, if you're disappointed, you got to put that stuff on the table. You got to put it on the table. You're not going to heal from it if you don't acknowledge it. In order to heal from it, you have to reveal it, right? So you have to put it on the table and be honest about it. That's the first step of any process, is to acknowledge that it's real. And once you acknowledge that it's real, again, I told you, our parents, the new generation, they would love to just say, oh, just go past it. Just go past it. And that's not real. And I think, you know what I think too? I don't think all of it's purposeful. I think some people do process, but I think the ones that did process, they don't talk about it. We're in such a popcorn reality where people want to be able to pretend like everything was so easy. Oh yeah, I woke up one day and I was a multimillionaire. Oh yeah, I woke up one day and I had a 7-figure business. Oh yeah, I woke up one day and I was a great mother to 4 kids and was married. Like, it becomes this idea that I'm just going to show you the success and pretend like I just knew what I was doing. When we're all more honest about the transparency of the process, then people understand what to expect. And so then they don't think something's wrong with them or they're flawed when they're being processed. Okay. So when you're in this moment where you can acknowledge the fear that you had, the anger that you had, the bitterness that you had, the disappointment that you had from this past season, where you can be honest about that, then I put it all on the table. Now I can process through it. And y'all asking me, what does processing mean? Well, processing, and it's a really lengthy, it's a lengthy process. To explain processing is a lengthy process for me to get you through all of it. But on a basic level, it's when you say, this is kind of like, I'll give you an example. When I was bringing my son up, he would get angry. And sometimes, again, when we're doing parenting, we don't know what we're doing. We're trying to figure it out. The old me was like, be quiet, or I'm going to give you something to cry about. Okay. And hey, I understand. I did it. But then I started to realize there were different ways. And so I was able, through education, through observation, through research, to realize there were different methods here. And one of the methods I realized, that I first wanted to acknowledge that he had the right to be angry. I don't own his emotions. I don't own him. He has the right to be angry. And so that's the first thing. When I acknowledged that he had the right to be angry, then if I understood that, I had to put boundaries about what I was willing to take and what I wasn't willing to take. So for me, you can be angry, but you cannot be disrespectful. That was my thing. And then I had to define what I thought disrespect was. I'm saying a lot because it's a whole big thing, processing. It's a whole thing. But I'm just telling you some of the processes. So I had to acknowledge that he could be angry, acknowledge that what he couldn't do to me, he couldn't be disrespectful. And I had to acknowledge what disrespect looked like to me. And I had to actually like readjust that definition. That definition is a forever rolling definition. Because again, your definitions are a lot of times influenced by past situations. And if those past situations were not always the right way to do it, you might have to like tweak those, right? So when I realized that, then the next step was, okay, let me give you a way for you to show your feelings, me acknowledge them, let me help you process this so that you can cool down, you can feel seen and heard. I can acknowledge that this was, a moment where you had a strong feeling and not be dismissive. And then we can now talk about a solution because now I've de-escalated the situation. Okay, I know I said a lot there and I don't really want to go all the way into that, but I want to explain to you what processing means. A lot of times y'all can't get past the next situation because you're still stuck in the high moment. You're stuck in your highs. You're stuck in the fact that I'm angry. Like, let's say somebody passes away. You angry that person died. And you have a right to be angry. But then are you stuck in anger? Are you stuck there? Are you really stuck? Have you been in anger for an abnormal amount of time? And I'm not putting time on grief. I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying, like you can ask yourself that. Like, have you been in a situation and you know it's lingered and it causes you your own personal grief inside because you just really are mad and you just can't get past it? You're stuck. And that just means that you didn't know how to properly de-escalate you down from that anger. And what it takes, the first thing you do is acknowledge that anger and then be able to say, what is the root of anger? Why am I angry? What caused the anger? And then when I realize what caused the anger, what can I do to resolve the fact that I had a right to be angry? And then allow myself to release that feeling. Because like I told you guys before, emotions are temporary, right? Emotions are temporary. What does that mean? You cycle through emotions. What people like to do is they think that they grab onto emotion and just is who I am. Matter of fact, some people are so messed up when it comes to that, they literally try to own a whole emotion. Y'all know people like that. They be like, oh, that's just who I am. This is part of my personality. Wait. You just put a feeling or an emotion into part of who your personality is. You're owning that thing? No, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, sir. You do not get to claim a whole thing as part of your personality. No, you're just unhealed. We don't want to talk about it, but that's a whole other story. That's not who you are. And unfortunately, sometimes what we do is we put labels on people when they do things a couple of times, and then now that's who they are. Candace, I always keep all my videos up, sis. So when it gets done, it is going to be posted. So you definitely can come back. Please share this with whoever needs it. Listen, so I'm glad that you guys found some similarities in the conversation. But like for real, like that's the thing. Like somebody lies, and we so fast to call them a liar, or somebody. We see a little girl that's friendly with man and we want to call her a whore. Let's talk about it. Like that's like for real. Like we put these titles on people and we make these one, twice type of things who that person is. And it's not always it. Even if that person was in a season where they lied a lot, does not mean that they are a liar. Right? Maybe they can change. Can change. See, we don't believe that. We don't really believe that. We don't really believe that people can get better. And therefore, because we don't believe people can get better, we don't give room for it. We don't give room for people to evolve, And so we don't give them the grace and the room to heal. We don't care. They did that. That's who they're gonna be forever. You did this, that's who you are forever. I don't even know why they have prisons. People don't believe in reformation. People don't really believe in it. They think once you did something, that's who you are forever. I mean, look at it. When people come out of jail, they call them felons for the rest of their life. I hate. Sorry, y'all. I may stop because that's just my passion coming out. I really have a heart for people who went to jail because guess what? You did something wrong and you just were caught. There's a lot of people out here doing stuff wrong, but you're going to be stamped for the rest of your life and people don't like to give you another chance. And I think that's crap. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so, it becomes a thing of if I get angry a lot, I need to deal with that. And why? What's the root to me being angry? Instead of people just saying, that's just how he is. Or that's just how I am. I'm just that way. No, ma'am. No, sir. That's not. You need to go work on that and figure out what it is so you can move past it. Because when you're stuck in something, you can't move to the next because you are stuck. And it holds up not only your career, it holds up your relationships, it holds up your peace, it holds up your goals, it holds up your purpose, it holds up all these different things, because you're not able to move freely and clearly and transition well to the places you're supposed to go because you haven't even mastered this season well. So, and you guys have any questions about this, put them in, go ahead and put them into the chat because I'll answer them as I see them. Or if you have any comments particularly, but like that's the whole thing. And Kenneth, you said y'all was talking about mourning, like mourning and grief, like all that stuff. Sometimes we think that's just about death. It's not just even about death. People are mourning not having the jobs that they want, the career paths that they want. People are mourning not having the life that they wanted. People are mourning not, having their preferences play out, right? And it becomes a whole situation. And so I have to remind people that you can very easily get trapped in emotion. And again, they're supposed to be temporary and fleeting. And this is what I talk about. Like you literally have you're supposed to be able to cycle through it. Don't own it. It's like, okay, I was angry. I processed through the anger and I released it. Now I can go forward. I was disappointed in this moment. Yes, that disappointed me. I processed why I was disappointed. I understand that was something that was unavoidable. All right, now I can release it and go forward. So many people are holding on to these emotions. So many people are holding on to these seasons of hurt. So many people are holding on and they cannot go forward and they did not release, right? So transitioning well, in a nutshell, is about letting go what you needed to let go, picking up the lesson that you needed to have to move to the next place peacefully so that you're ready to absorb again. Have you guys ever heard about people detoxing when they both start a new diet or a new workout system? I know you have. Do you know why they do that? And I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to tell you why. The reason why people detox before they start a new regimen is because it is necessary to get the gunk out the last season out of your body. Why? Because some people don't transition well, right? Some people want to go into the gym and start different things and do all this stuff, and they don't realize they just came out of McDonald's and ate, a 20-piece nugget with a large fry and a large chocolate shake, and having that stuff heavy on their system and trying to go and start a new workout regimen is gonna not work well. They're going to the gym and throw that stuff up because their body's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so the way that you properly transition is you're supposed to start weaning yourself off of things. And because we don't do that, going into the next season, we have to detox. We can't even go further until we detox. It's the same thing when you start a new class. Ask all the kids when they go into new grade for the first month. You know what they do? They reteach them everything from the grade before. Did y'all know that? Because they lose so much over the summer. For the first month, they have to spend time reminding them what they learned in the last grade. So they call it refreshers. And so they can't go forward because if they start teaching the new material, the kids will act like they don't remember the last year. And so they have to refresh them on what they learned already. Same kind of thing with the detox. Your system is in a bad place. I can't give it new great things. It's not going to absorb it until I detox the crap out of it. I can't put good things on top of the crap. So I got to strip it. I got to strip it down so that I can go ahead and put the good things so they can actually absorb in. Same way with your hair. You can't put good products over dirty hair. That's why when you go to a beautician, first thing they do is wash your hair. They got to strip all the stuff that you put in the product, all the bad things. They don't know what you put in your hair. Strip it down to a clean canvas so they can put the new stuff on it so they can go ahead and they know it's absorbing into your hair. Do you ever see somebody put product on their hair and it just sits on top of there? That means that you got stuff on it and you can't, or you got to figure out the porosity. That's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to go into that right now. But like, that's what we have to do. So now we're talking about what you should have left in the past season, what you should have brought into the new season, just in case you didn't do what you need to do. You might have to detox going into the new season. Don't deny the detox. Don't try to shortcut the detox. If you got to do the detox, go ahead and do it. And usually the detox, what that looks like for people is that you got to assess where you're at. You got to assess where you're really at. I went to go skating last night, and anybody knows me, I love to skate, but I haven't skated in almost a year. I think I skated one time in a year. And skating is a very strenuous exercise, but I love it. And I skate a lot. And so the good thing is a lot of times muscle memory will bring you back into it, but I had to understand what my limitations were too. I could push myself a bit, but I also had to understand what I could not do in that moment. So I pushed myself past my comfort zone. Oh, but I didn't act like I've been skating every day for the last 3 weeks. I didn't do that because I had to understand that I have to come in a little bit softer. And so for me, I had to kind of like shake off the shivers. Like I had to, when you haven't skated in a while, your legs feel like they're not really strong under you. You already know, don't start over here. Don't deny the detox for real. I had to shake off the jitters. I had to shake off the fear of falling. I had to shake off the fact that I'm around a whole different set of skaters, different state. I don't know how they skate yet. I don't know how the people around me are. I'm watching my, surroundings. I'm trying to understand what the flow is. I had to do the detox so I could get comfortable. So the first hour, I wasn't really even comfortable. I'm just trying to figure it all out. And then I started to get into my flow, right? And even then, I haven't got fully into it, but I'm in detox. I got to detox Chicago. I'm not in Chicago skating rinks right now. They don't do GB like that. They do some other stuff. Okay, when in Rome, do what Romans do. I'm going to still be me, but I also need to understand what I'm around. So yeah, y'all, I hope this made sense. I tried to be very thorough, but it's not a in my mind, it's not a difficult concept, but it is a concept that if you don't break it down, you won't actually understand what's in it. And I think we're such in this fast, we want to get through something, push through it, but we're not processing. And so you're trying to push past a whole season and you can't because you didn't process what was going on. And so you're stuck. Why do you think it's so many people that literally have arrested development? And we don't even want to go into that right now. It's so many people that's walking around here 30 years old, but really is 8-year-old little kid because that's when they got stuck. We don't want to talk about that, do we? It's the whole thing. So I want you guys to transition well. I do feel like I do have to go to another level with this. So I might do some more on this, maybe transitioning well part 2, but I feel like at least we got some groundwork done. So, I love you guys. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for watching me through my transition. I am in a transition too. So this is kind of cool because as I'm transitioning, I'm like letting you guys know and letting you in on what's going on with me too. As I said at the beginning of the live, I will be doing YouTube from now on. So it's going to be interesting on what this looks like. So come and welcome me, YouTube. I want to be here. I hope y'all want me to be here. Let's do this. All right. I always end my live with letting you guys know you are enough. Let's look at the shirt. What I say? You are enough. You're not too much. You're not extra. You're not lacking. And you're not worthy. I know that's not the best wording, but I need you to understand that and get it. You're enough. You're enough for this next season. You can do it. You can do it. And anybody who doesn't know, I have shirts available on my website. www.parispjohnson.com. I have shirts and sweatshirts. I have shirts for men and women, unisex shirts, all about mental health and just understanding who you are so you can walk in everything that you're supposed to be. Check it out. Also get on the mailing list on there. I have so many things coming up. You want to be on that mailing list. I promise you, you really do. I dropped a new shirt that's olive green and I have And it's a V-neck, and then I also dropped a new shirt that was blue. And that one says, boundaries get you some. Because you guys need to get you some boundaries. All right. It's time. It's time. All right. Love you guys. It's been wonderful. I will talk with you guys soon. Bye.